See, it's just
Yo.
Test.
testing. Pop up yet?
Mm-mm.
You popped up? What's it showing?
Nope.
Not the other
That's
one.
the other one.
First and foremost, as always, we like to give all praises unto
YAHAWAH, Ba'ashem, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Quadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, brothers, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. All right, something that's hot and heavy in the news, which has been hot and heavy in the news, but it's just continuing to increase, is a situation with NATO members pretty much bickering and feuding amongst each other, all right, which is causing separation. As the scriptures say, if Satan's kingdom be divided, his kingdom cannot stand. All right, so the same way you had the Israelites, we were divided, all right. Find the account where the prophet came to the garden, the 10 people representing okay. Yeah, hold on.
What you wanted? Revelation 17
and
15. Oh, this is Revelation 17. All right. This is Revelation 17 and verse 15. It said, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Yeah, so going back to what I was saying, the kingdom of Israel, we got separated, we got divided, and what happened? We were never the same since. Okay, we had oppression from the northern kingdom, or upon the northern kingdom from the Assyrians. We had oppression from the Babylonians on the southern kingdom. All right, so that all came from the Most High splitting up the nation of Israel. All right, causing that division to be amongst Israel, and that destroyed us. Okay, so you see those same actions being taken upon Esau, whether they call themselves Germans or English or French or American or whatever the case may be. You see that happening with them, and it's causing all kind of seams to be unwoven, all right, to where the fabric of this nation is just going to totally disintegrate, man. Okay.
Verse 16, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah, they shall make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have those NATO nations that's going to set fire to Babylon the Great. All right, because they're going to come to a point to where they're already fed up with the pompous attitude of America. All right, the president Donald Trump going to these different countries, going to that NATO reunion, or it was like his birthday. It was a NATO 70th birthday or something, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, okay, at the water. Pretty much being prissy, thinking that America is the end all be all, what they say goes, so on and so forth. Well, those NATO nations is getting tired of that, because they're like, look, this is a group organization, man. It should be that no one country is above the other. Even if you got one with superior this or superior that, or more monetarily stable with this or that. The whole point was to come together to be able to fend off your so-called enemies. All right, and also with that, you got Turkey beefing because there's a particular so-called terrorist group that they want NATO to recognize as an actual terrorist group. All right, but that not being in the interest of the rest of those member nations, you know, they can care less. All right, go ahead, bro.
You want this or you want me to finish on that?
Grab that.
Grab this, okay. This is 1 Kings 11 and start at 29. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they too were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take these 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the power of Israel, behold, I will rent the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonites, Shemash, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in mine eyes, to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father.
Yeah. So the prophet was naming off all these idols that Israel was worshiping, and it was a division. It was a split within the nation of Israel. Okay. Now, when you look at the consequences are the results of the Most High separating the nation of Israel. When you look at the Northern Kingdom, all right, we looked at some history on the Northern Kingdom, man, and they was bugged out of their minds, man, getting enemas to get as humanly drunk as possible. The tattoos they was getting, they would cut their flesh open and then you know, ink it. They would pierce all different parts of their face and so on and so forth, so that when the Lord causes you to drift off into outer darkness, you know, when He takes that spirit from you, and you become just like the heathen, man. All right, and that's a result of following after the heathen. So where you literally someone look at you and be like, damn, that's a damn heathen, man. When you look at those the Mayans, they look a lot more heathenish than some damn Japhites over in the Philippines or something like that. You know, in those the equivalent of those times. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
This is Jeremiah 17 and 4. It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knewest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Yeah, so the Lord calls it to where we discontinue from our enemies, man. I mean, so like from our heritage. So I'm thinking about it's like we discontinue from our heritage, right? And that caused us to become likened unto the heathen, man. Which is why YAHAWASHI had to come and pretty much reconcile us back to the Heavenly Father.
Right.
Okay.
This is Matthew,
and this is pertaining to what the Lord said about Israel, about the body of Israel. Okay.
This is Matthew 20 and 25. It says, but YAHAWASHI called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them.
All right, now, what is this is pertaining to Israelites. What the Lord is talking about, YAHAWASHI is talking about But what is America trying to do to its fellow member nations of the EU, or not EU, excuse me, NATO? All right, because America's not part of the EU, but NATO, because NATO members of NATO are from the eastern to the western hemisphere, from Canada to America to damn Europe. Okay, but here it is, the whore that's over here on the western hemisphere is trying to exercise, you know, dominance over its homies. You know,
It says, and they that are great exercise authority upon them, but it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many.
yeah, pretty much to serve. All right, the Lord didn't come; He came to serve. All right, not to be ministered unto. He came to actually serve, to lay down that example of humility, of order, of you know, setting that foundation. Grab second Ezra, what's that, 13? Pass from there on.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Was that it on Revelation?
There's a couple more verses.
Okay, hop to that first.
This is Revelation. This is 2nd Ezra 7. I'm going to start at 1. It says, and when I made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore. And he said unto me, up, Ezra, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place.
Go back to.
Okay, this is Revelation 17 and 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Yeah, it said the waters where the whore sitteth are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. All right, so this whore, all right, Babylon the Great, its influences all around the world, man. Where it sitteth, the over 800 military bases that America got all around the world. All right, peoples and multitudes of nations and tongues, man, are influenced and pretty much held in some kind of captivity under the whore's rule, man. Okay.
Keep going this. Verse 3. And I said, speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad?
Yeah, it said the sea. Read that part again where it said ruling it.
Okay. It says, verse 5. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad?
Yeah, the sea representing people, man. Because that's what's going to be ruled. People are going to be ruled in the kingdom of heaven, underneath YAHAWASHI. All right, so that entrance, that pathway to righteousness, all right, is narrow. You got all these people that are pretty much. It's like Pokemon, man. You got to catch them all. All right. Find that every knee shall bow to confess. Yeah. All right, because the result of YAHAWASHI ruling is going to be every knee bowing to YAHWAH BaShem YAHAWASHI. Okay, so you got all these people out there that's just demoned out, all right, like the craziest Pokemon characters you see that gotta, their minds gotta be brainwashed in righteousness, all right? Whether you are a Israelite or a heathen, okay, your mind's gonna be changed at some point in time, man. All right, it starting first and foremost starting with Israel, and then these other nations is gonna have to get with the program, man. Which they won't be able to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of YAHAWASHI outside perfectly, but they damn sure gonna have to try. All right, give an effort, you know.
I got you.
Okay.
This is Isaiah 45. 45 and 23. And it reads, I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. Surely shall one say, in the Lord I have righteousness and strength, even to him shall men come, and all that.
Yeah, even to him shall men come. Right?
Even to him shall men come, and all that are incensed against him shall be ashamed. Verse 25. In the Lord shall all seed of Israel be justified, shall all the seed of Israel be justified, and shall glory.
Yep. So in YAHAWASHI outside, hey, we're gonna glory, man. We're all gonna be justified. The nation of Israel gonna be justified, but ultimately, hey, to YAHAWASHI, everyone's gonna come. All right. To be put in order. Okay, go ahead.
This is Romans 14 and 11. For it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to Yahawah. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to Yahawah.
Right. All right, so everybody's got to give an account. Grab Revelation 2 and what is that? 25?
You done with it on Ezra's?
No.
Okay, I'm holding. You said 2 and what? 25?
25.
This is Revelation 2 and 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations.
Yeah, that's the point, man. The men that overcome this world, that overcome Satan, that overcome death, will be given power over the nations, man. All right, because the nations have to be ruled, man. All right, starting first and foremost with YAHAWASHI, like it said, mentioned in Ezra's, man. That sea needs to be ruled, man. You got all kind of crazy shit going on in the world, man. All kind of demonic activity going on in the world, man. That needs to be corrected. All right, in a large way, a lot of this demonic activity in the world is going to be corrected is through death. Okay.
Verse 27. It says, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
Yeah. So that power that YAHAWASHI received of Yahawah, hey, he's gonna make that known, man. Okay, he's gonna make that known. Grab Isaiah 66 and 15.
Isaiah 66 and 15. All right. This is Isaiah verse 66 and 15. 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
Yeah, that's how the Lord's coming back, man. The Lord's gonna return with fire and the chariots, man. All right, laser fire coming out of the chariots, as well as thermonuclear fire from the Lord's army, from one of the Lord's army. All right, being the missiles.
Right.
Okay.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Right, to rebuke this rail, because as we said, there's a lot of people out there that have to be ruled, man. All right, people's minds have to be, as the scripture saying in Corinthians, bringing every thought into subjection, roughly phrasing. That's the point of this gospel, of this ministry. It's to bring everyone's, starting with Israel, to bring Israel's thoughts, bring their minds into subjection. Okay?
Verse 16. For by fire and by his word will the Lord plead with all flesh.
Yep.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Yeah, the slain of the Lord shall be many. All right, hold 2 Ezra 13, because it's gonna get into dust and smell of smoke. Because it said the slain of the Lord shall be many. You know what I'm saying? Just hold it when you got it.
I got it.
Jump back to it.